What's going on, everybody? B-Sky here with
G.O.D.
And on today's show, we're going to the matchups. It's the playoffs.
Finally.
We missed a couple weeks, but that's all right. We're back. It's week 14. We got the playoffs for most of you. Don't get me wrong. Or it's a must-win situation.
Yeah.
You know, like in our situation.
For real.
It's a must-win, playing each other in our league. So, anyway, we have the matchups for you. Some sit starts, stuff like that. Obviously, we're looking at studs, absolute starters this week. Plain and simple. So, keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs.
You know what it is. Secure the bag.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. B. Scott and G.O.D. here, and we're going to the matchups. It's week 14. A lot of you, it's playoffs, must-win games. If you're not in the playoffs, you're fighting for one.
Yeah.
Of course. So,
yeah, period. I mean, whatever, with all the injuries this year, COVID and everything else, Tuesday night games, Wednesday night games, it's ridiculous right now. So, if you're pushing, hey, you know we got the plug.
Yeah, absolutely. First time in NFL history that there's been a game every single day of the week in the NFL season.
That's so crazy.
It's going to be crazy. So, you know what? I'm just going to jump into the matchups. Let's get right to it, obviously. So, I'll start at the top. Arizona. On the road, New York Giants. Arizona should win this game. They're favored. A lot of talks around Kyler Murray being injured. Don't get me wrong. You've seen it in the last few weeks. He hasn't been running the ball as effectively. I still like him as a start here. If you have Kyler Murray, he had 3 touchdowns last week. DeAndre Hopkins, questionable coming into the game. He's going to give it a go, but he hasn't looked right, obviously.
Yeah, he has not at all.
Kenyon Drake, huge start for me this week against the New York Giants football team that has been very good on on defense, but they're still susceptible to the running back position. And Kenyon Drake, you see it. He's got 8 touchdowns on the season. Is he blowing away the numbers? No, but he's getting it done. Giants side of the ball. Wayne Gallman, definite obvious start for me. 5 of 6 games, he's had a touchdown. Last week had over 100 yards rushing. He's played the part.
Yeah, but he's still getting sniped by Alfred Morris.
Absolutely, but look, you know what? The Giants are winning football games. It starts with the running game, in my opinion, and playing defense, and that's what they're doing best. Wayne Gallman's the obvious start. Daniel Jones, questionable coming in. Hopefully, he'll be healthy enough to play because they need him to win this game. It's a very important game for them. They're leading the division at 5-7.
That's great.
The New York Football Giants.
Not for long. I think Washington will take that division.
Okay, it's possible, but if you want to take a chance with Sterling Shepard and stuff like that, remember this is playoffs. These are must-win games. So, to be honest, would be maybe looking in different areas. I'm not so sure with those kind of guys, but I like Arizona in this game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm channeling my Al Davis. I got the Raider hat on. Just win, baby. If you're in the playoffs right now, you have to just win.
Yep.
And, you know, you're looking at these matchups and some of these players that are not really top-tier players like Wayne Gallman, these guys, these are fringe starts for you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to start them there, go ahead, but proceed with caution. I mean, I feel like the Giants in this game, in this matchup, you know, you look at the Giants and like the teams that they've played, and, you know, they haven't played anybody very much, the wins that they've had.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The losses that they have, though, have come against very good teams, but come within a score.
Yep.
And I'm talking about like Tampa. You know what I'm saying? They lost to them by two points.
Yeah.
So it's like they've been playing pretty good football. So you have to wonder, is this fluke or is this real?
Yeah.
I think they are on the verge of being a very good football team. And to be honest with you, you've seen the woes with Kyler Murray lately. You know, the shoulder injury, like you just mentioned, DeAndre Hopkins and his route tree in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He hasn't been outside 15 yards running the route, you know what I'm saying, on the left side in those 3 games. So, you know what I'm saying, what you're really left with is Christian Kirk and 5'6" Kyler Murray throwing the football.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What it really boils down to that this is Kenyon Drake season. You know what I'm saying? He's finally showing the attributes where we was trying to pick him in drafts in late August.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I think there's a clear-cut way that the New York Giants win this team. The New York Football Giants, excuse me, win this game, and that's who I'm picking on this one.
Okay. Yeah, 45 over under. You'd be surprised considering Arizona, top 5 offense coming into, you know, part way of the season. They've struggled the last couple weeks.
I do love Arizona's secondary too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be a tough game, but I got to take Arizona. I think Arizona's going to get it done. I think the Giants, everyone's jumping on that Giants train, which their defense has played very underrated.
Yeah.
But they're coming off a big win against Seattle. I think they lose it here to Arizona. So we'll move to the next matchup. Dallas on the road against Cincinnati. Now, yes, no one really cares about this game, but there are still some fantasy players that you're going to have on your roster that you're going to have to make choices on. You know, 42.5 over and under, one of the lowest of the week. Dallas side of the ball. Zeke. If you got him, you probably got to start him. Hopefully, he's just like an RB2. If he's RB1, you're probably not even talking about playoffs anyway.
Yeah, you gotta watch that, though, because it probably comes down to a game-time decision. I mean, obviously, he has little bitch syndrome or something. He's not playing. He's questionable with a calf injury.
Hey.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when you're playing bad, you got fake injuries sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Amari Cooper, start for me in this game. Had a touchdown last week. Has he blown anybody away? No, but Andy Dalton's getting it done. He's looked pretty solid over the last 3 weeks. I would be starting Amari Cooper here. Also, Dalton Schultz. Everyone's high on the Dalton Schultz train this week, especially. Cincinnati giving up second most fantasy points to the tight end position. Dalton Schultz is getting targets. He's getting that love. So I would absolutely be firing him up. Probably as a top 10 tight end this week, for sure. Now, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. This is my toss-up, and it's a hard choice.
Yeah, because it's Dalton. I mean,
absolutely. So to start Dalton right off the bat was targeting Gallup, and it looked good for Gallup's production. But then there was a week where it didn't happen. There was a couple quarterback mishaps. And then you saw last week, though, Gallup once again picked it up against Baltimore. CeeDee Lamb still getting targeted, just more on the short routes underneath plays. That's what it looked like to me for Baltimore. But I can't sit here and say I would feel comfortable starting Lamb or Gallup this week.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like it's going to boil down to, as far as fantasy production right now, can you really think that Andy Dalton could sustain 3? Do you really think that Andy Dalton could produce 3 wide receivers right now? Let alone they have 4 if you add Dalton Schultz to the mix. Let alone 5 if you add Ezekiel Elliott to the mix. I don't think so. So, you know what I mean? That's like kind of a toss-up for me. You know what I mean? If you want to put any of those guys, even Amari Cooper, in your lineup, it's extremely hard to do. Now, on the flip side of the ball, I could bet my bottom dollar that I would not start any Cincinnati Bengal right now at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm on the same boat. You never know where the production is going to come from with Cincinnati. Uncle Gio.
You don't get yards for special teams.
Right, so Uncle Gio, he's not getting it done. He's averaging less than 10 carries per game over the last 4 weeks with Joe Mixon out. They got the backup quarterback in there. Brandon Allen, I think, is the guy you're looking at. Tyler Boyd, 1 catch last week, but it was a 70-yard touchdown on a bad play on defense. Yeah. So I don't know if he
touchdown on accident.
That's what I'm saying. It was a good play. He ran around the sideline and made it all the way down, but that's okay. T. Higgins, he's also questionable in this game with a hamstring injury, so it's like that's kind of scary for me. I don't see how Cincinnati can win this football game regardless, and I would stray away from any Cincinnati Bengal, especially this week.
Yeah, and I would move on to the next matchup.
Okay, so on to the next matchup.
Dallas, go ahead and get that one.
Right, we got a big matchup. Highest over-under point total, 55. Green Bay on the road against the Detroit Lions. Lots of fantasy relevant players, obviously. Green Bay side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers, MVP candidate. We talked about this already.
Probably a front runner at this point.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they're playing great, leading the division, all the good stuff. So he's putting it out there. Devontae Adams, number 2 receiver on the season. Only behind Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he's unreal. He beat me last week. Kind of devastating. But anyway, and then on top of that,
shout out to the Clippers.
Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, RB start. It's a must start. He's probably the RB2 or 3 this week, in my opinion, just because there's a couple other guys with better matchups. Jamal Williams, he's another guy that I'd possibly be flexing, considering that there could be a lot of negative game script or positive game script for the Green Bay Packers where he's going to get some love. Definitely a possible flex option. And then Robert Tonyan, got to bring him up. 3 straight games with a touchdown. He's been good. He's top 10 tight end on the season.
It's crazy because Green Bay normally doesn't run a tight end, you know what I mean? But he's just been there getting that kind of love. And, you speak of Jamal Williams, as you just said, that's a scheme for Matt LaFleur and their team.
Yeah.
They come out strong with Aaron Jones. They let Williams get his run and whoever else get their run, and then Aaron Jones comes to close it. So if you're starting Jamal Williams, there's a very viable way that he sees the end zone here.
Absolutely. Detroit Lions give him most fantasy points to the running back position. Now, on tight end position, we already talked about Tonyan. It is a tough spot. I want to say Detroit Lions have given up only more than 40 receiving yards to the tight end twice on the season. But Tonyan had a touchdown against the Detroit Lions, 25 yards in week 2. I like him here. I'd be starting him. I mean, tight end's been a wasteland, period. So Tonyan's the guy. Alan Lazard. Let's talk about him a little bit. He's a possible flex guy. Realistically, his snap share's ticked up since he's been back. There was talks, a lot of the news, Matt LaFleur saying he's just not going to get all the snap share because they're worried about re-injury of the injury that he has.
I'm telling you, I got a funny feeling it's going to be one of these MVS games. I'm telling you, where he just catch them deep balls and it's just gonna be ridiculous. And Aaron Jones,
well, he does that or he drops the
Speaking
balls.
of week 2, Aaron Jones had like a career day at 43.5 fantasy points and half point. You know what I mean? So here we go again. And you know, if you got him, you got to start him in this game. I mean, hopefully you got depth because honestly, why wouldn't you start Aaron Jones in this situation? Right. You know what I mean? So this is a nuclear spot for him. The Detroit Lions, though, I mean, you look at Marvin Jones Jr. He's been getting a ridiculous target share in the last 3 games. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's the number 1 receiver. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Golladay down. You got to start him if you really need that flex position right there. I wouldn't be starting them over, you know what I'm saying, obvious studs outside of like maybe Hopkins or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. What you think about T.J. Hockenson this week?
Yeah, you know, Hockenson, it's a tough spot, but you're starting him. He's a top 5 tight end just based on pure volume and production. Yeah. I mean, he looks good. He's going to be great, in my opinion, probably his career.
Matt got to throw the ball somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with the 55-point over-under, we talk about Green Bay Packers. Their projected points at 32.
Yeah.
That still puts the lines right around 21 to 23 points if you put it at the 55. So, they're going to have some touchdowns. I don't know how the running backs are going to do. DeAndre Swift, dealing with the illness. He practiced in full. He had the concussion that held him out. I don't know how much. There's a lot of talks that he's just not going to get that full reign that he was getting.
That's a bad look on the Detroit Lions. I remember Javed Best on that same team going through the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I know we're not trying to throw no sleepers out here. Quintus Cephas.
Yeah.
I think he can make a deep ball play. He made one last week. Matthew Stafford's going to have to throw the ball. They waived Marvin Hall. They want Quintus Cephas to kind of get more production. So,
and what you like, and yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off, but what you like about it more, this is a divisional matchup and things just happen. So, you know, you load up those Detroit Lions because they're, honestly, the way Green Bay's been blowing up games, there's going to be garbage time in these games.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You taking the Detroit Lions?
No.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Green Bay. We're both on Green Bay, so we'll move to the next matchup. Houston.
Yeah.
46 over under.
This is a pick 'em to me.
Absolutely. Chicago Bears. This is a tough one. Chicago Bears defense has been pretty decimated over the last few weeks. You know, they looked great early on. They really worn down. And as a whole, lost 6 in a row. It's not looking good.
That's like telling somebody you're finna run a 40 and no, you run a marathon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
That defense is wore down. You have to think they feel like they're out of luck and not really inspired to play football at this point. But obviously they're going to come up and show and play on Sunday. So.
Yeah, of course. And they're at home. So let's talk about some starts. Houston side of the ball.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. He's a must start. Chicago Bears giving up 2+ touchdowns, right? Yeah, 2+ touchdowns as a quarterback since week 9. That's what we talked about. Really, really worn down where they were elite to start and they've really shown. So also, 7 touchdowns given up to the wide receiver position from week 9 to now in the last 4 weeks. So that tells me there can be stuff done through the air. They can't run the football. David Johnson put on the COVID list. He's going to be out for this game. Duke Johnson. You can't trust him in this matchup, period. I mean, this is playoffs. So if you're going to be starting players in this matchup, I like Deshaun Watson, Brandon Cooks for the volume period. If you want to take a chance, Kiki, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He might be able to get it done.
Kiki, do you love me?
Right.
Hey, you know what? I think what it was going to come down to in this matchup, not fantasy-wise, is who's going to be the more physical team. I don't think that Houston is a physical football team at all. They don't have a big wide receiver that they could just chuck it up to. It's a lot of those, you know what I'm saying, just strike across the field with Brandon Cooks and things like
Watson
that.
Watson makes all the plays.
You know, I can see any given point, any given game with Brandon Cooks to be out with a concussion and a team that's as violent as the Chicago Bears. This could be one of those games, you know what I mean? So, I mean, although they are lacking inspiration, they are still a very violent football team. They're very physical. You look at DeMont, you know what I'm saying? He's been having his workload, even though, in my opinion, he sucks as a running back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He probably shouldn't be a running back at all.
Hey, he doubled his touchdown total last week. It was against me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They're a very physical football team, and I think that's what's going to get it done in the cold in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, David Montgomery talked about a must start. Al Robinson, you must start him. Jimmy Graham, you can't trust him.
Yeah.
Last few weeks, he's just been disappeared.
Graham.
Cole Kmet had a touchdown last week, but I just stray away. Yeah, I would just stray away from that, in my opinion. Start the guys that you know are going to be able to produce.
Yeah.
And in this game, I think I'm torn.
This ain't a bye week filler type of situation.
Yeah.
You want studs. You want guys. I mean, that's going to go in there and produce, has a target share, has a snap share. You don't want to sit up here and dart throw. Not this week.
Yeah, not if you don't have to. So I'm gonna take Houston to win. You gonna take Chicago at home?
No, yeah, I'm taking Chicago.
Okay, all right. We'll move to the next matchup. This is a good matchup. A little upset alert.
Just bet on the Bears.
That's all right. It's a little upset alert in my opinion. I mean, I may be a long shot, but 15.5 over under. Kansas City Chiefs on the road against Miami Dolphins. Right? Kansas City Chiefs.
You said upset. You're picking Miami to win this football game?
Hold on, let's get to it.
Oh my God.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Come on, let's get it.
Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. You're starting him. Tyreek Hill, you're starting him. Travis Kelce, you're starting him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You got to show me the angle.
This is the worst part. Okay, so hold on. First off, Tyreek Hill, he's dealing with illness or something like that, I think. And Andy Reid's saying he's hoping he's going to play. So make sure to double check. But Tyreek Hill, if he's playing, he's in your lineup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was active last week as an emergency, and they didn't tell you that. So he got you a big fat goose egg because everybody's starting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Period. So it cost you last week, but this week
I told you he sucks.
That's okay. This week he's good to go. I'd be starting him here against the Miami Dolphins team, which isn't a great spot for him, but the volume could be there, especially the pass work. Le'Veon Bell, he looks all right, but it still doesn't look like he's overtaken that spot. Miami Dolphins side of the ball. Now, who can you really trust? Gesicki? Absolutely, I'd be starting him here. He's looked good over the last few weeks. And the pass catchers. Kansas City is very good against wide receivers. They're not great against tight end. So I'd be starting Gesicki here. Absolutely. Myles Gaskin. Just a must start. Plain and simple. You know he's going to get the load.
Yeah.
All those guys are hurt over there, and they just like to run one running back. Gaskin's been good.
Yeah.
You know. So definitely a guy that I'd be starting. Tua. This is where I'm torn because Devontae Parker has not looked good with Tua. But Tua's still playing okay, but it's the playoffs. You can't really trust him. So I'd stray away from it as a start if I had to start my fantasy team. But the Chiefs have been really sleeping on offense a little bit as a whole. Maybe it's because they play bad against the Denver Broncos. It's just plain and simple. Mahomes does anyway on his career. But I got a weird feeling that the Dolphins are going to win this game at home. You know how hard teams, I'm telling you, teams tend to struggle playing in Miami. Maybe it's the humidity. I don't know what it is, but
the Dolphins have been playing very good. But, I mean, this team, this Kansas City World Football Championship team
absolutely
is cut from a different cloth.
Yes.
I really don't think that they can cover all this. You know what I'm saying? It's very ironic that Le'Veon Bell is playing in this matchup, given with the Jets, they cut him or whatever, and his two destinations was Miami or Kansas City. And I told you, you know what I'm saying, it would have been a better fit for him to go to Miami because they're going to be loyal to the back that's actually producing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're looking at a guy that probably be a top 5 back rather than a fringe running back 3, running back 4 type of player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is besides the point. Miami winning this game is going to be very hard. I don't know if Tua can really gunsling with Patrick Mahomes if it really comes down to it. And they got some dynamic corners out there in Miami, but who gonna cover Kelce? You know what I'm saying?
Somebody.
I just don't see it happening. I think Miami. I don't know if they necessarily roll in this one, but I think they come out with the win.
Okay. You know what? I think I'm just picking as a little upset alert. I want to say KC's favored by 7 in this game. I just got a feeling Miami's going to pull it out, man. I was shocked when the Dolphins really spanked the Los Angeles Rams when they were playing so good. You know.
Yeah, but the Rams ain't the Chiefs.
They're not the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have looked pretty lackluster. Don't get me wrong against Tampa Bay. They jumped out to that early lead. Tyreek Hill just dominated. 200 yards in the first quarter, and they really pulled it back and they pulled out the win, but they didn't do much on offense. Turn around, they played Denver Broncos. Patrick Mahomes, 1 passing touchdown. And they didn't look very good on offense at all, but maybe because Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't there, who knows? And he's for some reason, he struggles against Denver. I just got a weird feeling, a little tingle that Miami's going to win this week. But absolutely. Okay, so we'll move to the next one. 53 over under. Minnesota, Tampa Bay. Starts Minnesota. Dalvin Cook, you're not sitting him, even though it's a very tough start. Tampa Bay gives up the fewest rushing yards per game.
I don't care if it's the 85 Bears. You're not sitting Dalvin Cook.
That's what I'm saying. So, obviously, Dalvin Cook must start. Kirk Cousins, last 3 weeks. I want to say he's the QB1 on the season over the last 3 weeks. I'd be firing them up here. Tampa Bay secondary has not been playing well at all. They really have not. They really struggled over the last few weeks. So
fantasy playoffs, first round. You start Kirk Cousins against Tampa.
Would you start him over Matt Ryan? Would you start him over Taysom Hill? Let's say you had Drew Brees, and you picked up Taysom Hill to be your starting quarterback.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I think Taysom Hill has a fine floor. You know what I mean?
Of course, he's got a safer floor than a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's just any running.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, any mobile quarterback that's actually successful. And you got a monster like, Alvin Kamara. You got a monster like Michael Thomas who can catch the ball.
Like Dalvin Cook.
Both those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Adam Thielen and Justin
Then a
Jefferson.
sleeper. You still got Emmanuel Sanders. You still got Jared Cook. I would start Taysom Hill over Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry.
Okay, Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, is a fringe start considering Tampa. This and the over under 53. You're looking at Taysom Hill in a matchup where his over under is 42. You know what I mean? That's a lot less points.
Yeah, but I know where his floor is going to be.
Yeah.
Period.
I know.
20 points.
Kirk Cousins, you got to think about it. You also got to think about negative game trip. Let's say Tampa Bay gets out big and they're whooping on him.
But what I do know about Kirk Cousins is he does not do good under pressure. And that Tampa front, they're going to put a lot of work on Kirk Cousins early and very often. You know what I mean? With Justin Jefferson, there's a big playability that they can execute. You know what I'm saying? Tampa does run that man-to-man, and sometimes you get beat on the man-to-man. I just don't see
Thielen and Jefferson.
I just don't see it. I'm telling you, I don't see it. Maybe they do produce. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that they're going to be world beaten. Maybe Justin Jefferson. I don't think Thielen will, though.
Okay. Yeah, Thielen it's crazy. Leads the team in red zone targets, period. He catches a lot of touchdowns on the season.
Got to get to the red zone.
Absolutely. So, and it's going to be a struggle because they can't really run the football.
I feel like if they get it through the air like that, you know what I'm saying? I think Justin Jefferson's going to be on streaks where he just hit it to the house.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dalvin Cook must start. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson must start, guys. Kirk Cousins, he's on the fringe. If you got to start him, I feel like it's still a good start. I get it. He might struggle with the pass rush. Tampa Bay, side of the ball. Tom Brady. I would start him here. Minnesota, although their defense has been playing better of late, they're missing out on their linebacking core. There's a guy that's out. The defense isn't elite.
FACK, fact. Yannick Ngakoue still leads that team in sacks. He's not on that team no more.
Yeah.
They're not getting no pressure, bro. They're not going to put pressure on a pimple. So, I think that's been the problem with Brady. He's not going to run out of the pocket. I think Brady going to be back there to be a field general all game long.
Yeah, absolutely. So, pass catchers. Mike Evans, dealing with a hamstring, did not practice Thursday, came back on Friday in practice.
He was downgraded, but he came back Friday. So
Coach said he's going to play.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if you have Mike Evans, you got to take the risk. It's a great matchup. Minnesota giving up the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position on the season. So, I'd fire up all the wide receivers here. Antonio Brown. I'm in between just because he hasn't really produced yet. Now, if you got to take a chance on him, I get it.
The target share has been there, but what's more interesting to me is that Chris Godwin got the pins taken out of his hand this week, so maybe he does go through some pain management and not really get the snaps that he really wants to get, or maybe doesn't catch the balls that he's supposed to catch. So I think AB will be a fine product or Gronk to blow up in the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Gronk is definitely a start tight end position. And Irv Smith, I'm going to throw a little one out there just because tight ends are hurting. Kyle Rudolph's out, all but out anyway. Didn't practice all week. He's doubtful. Irv Smith has looked pretty good. He hasn't looked bad in the spots that he's been able to play. This game's got a lot of points. There's going to be a lot of points scored.
So you taking the Vikings?
Absolutely not. Come on, man. Tampa Bay at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Move to the next one. 52.5 over under. Tennessee at Jacksonville. 52.5 over under. That's what I told you. There's a lot of points. So, Tennessee side of the ball, Derrick Henry, I mean, he probably will be the RB1 or 2 this week. I think he'll probably finish ahead of Aaron Jones, even though Aaron Jones has potential to be the RB1.
No, I think it'll be Henry.
Yeah, Henry.
He's
it seems like every year they play in the last 3 weeks of the season, and Henry has 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against him. You know what I mean? So hopefully,
this is like Herschel Walker, O.J. Simpson, Dorsett, all of them mixed together.
Yeah,
it don't even make sense.
Yeah, Henry's going to do good. He's coming off a bad game, a down game anyway. Should be a beast bounce back right here. Yeah. So Ryan Tannehill, top 10 quarterback on the season, perfect spot to start him. Jacksonville secondary, the defense as a whole, bottom 10, not good at all. I would start Ryan Tannehill. Now, you do have to worry. If Derrick Henry does that good, how much can Tannehill produce? You know, it could limit it. So, but I'd be starting him.
Yeah, I'll start him too because there's a big situation where he can just absolutely produce a 30, 40-point game for you here.
Well, A.J. Brown could have. A.J. Brown,
Corey Davis been playing very well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Johnny's due for a very good game. So, I mean, that's all out there. You know what I'm saying? But I think with Derrick Henry getting stuffed the way he did last week, he wants to secure that rushing title, and he kills Jacksonville, man. Let's just be real. Let's just go ahead and roll the credits right now.
Jacksonville side of the ball. Let's talk about James Robinson.
Yeah,
nice little fantasy gold period on the season. Absolutely. So James Robinson is a must start. Pass catchers. So I saw somewhere somebody tried to say to start Mike Glennon, and it's like,
you know what, Glennon was never really a bad quarterback.
He wasn't horrible.
He just wasn't an elite guy.
No,
you know what I mean.
No, he's like an average guy,
kind of like Josh McCown. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what to do with the pass catchers for Jacksonville. You know, none of them really dominated the ball. DJ Chark, they said, ran the most routes. So if you want to take a chance on him, obviously there's going to be a lot of points scored. DJ Chark is great.
I mean, everybody gets confused with snap share and all that, everything like that. Don't worry about snap share. What you want to worry about is the routes that's run.
Yeah, so if 47 pass attempts, he ran 44 routes. That tells me he's on the field.
That's very good.
Of course. So DJ Chark is a guy that if you got to take a chance starting him here, it's a high over-under. Tennessee's defense is not good.
Shit, it might be the bounce back.
We already know this, absolutely. Yeah. So outside of that with pass catchers, Laviska Shenault caught the weird touchdown last week where it ricocheted off and he got lucky, to be honest.
That guy's going to be a player.
Yeah, he will, but you can't really trust him here. Same Keelan Cole, Chris Conley. Colin Johnson, I think that's his name. Colin Johnson, I think he's a rookie. I don't know. He's played pretty well, and he's getting a lot of targets, to be honest, in the limited snaps that he's playing, but I'm not sure who to trust. If you're going to trust somebody, James Robinson, DJ Chark, I'd stay away from it.
That expansion team sucks.
Tennessee. We're both on Tennessee, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Titans.
Yeah, of course. We'll move on. 52 over under. Indianapolis Colts.
Excuse us. We might be going through this pretty fast or whatever. It's been a minute, but
I know.
We're just having fun, enjoying this playoffs. It's been a very tough, turbulent season. So
yeah, it's been
it is what it is.
Ridiculous. So Colts on the road against the Raiders. Colts side of the ball. I'm gonna say
this game could get interesting. It should be fun to watch.
You know what, Phillip Rivers? What's going to happen? He's played the Raiders a lot. You know what I mean in his career. So, Colts side of the ball, Jonathan Taylor, right, coming off his best game of the season, arguably. Raiders, 10th most fantasy points, I think, or they're bottom 10 against the running backs, fantasy points on the season. Nyheim Hines. Raiders have been killed by pass catching running backs. It's like one thing they're known for. You know what I mean? Jamal Charles lit them up every single year with screen passes. So I got a feeling Nyheim Hines has some value here.
I feel like this is more fit to be a Hines game rather than a Taylor game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the same boat because I think Taylor, it's either he gets his production or he gets nothing. You know what I mean? You got to take the chance there. Hines is very on the similar boat, but
he has a floor knowing that he's going to get the receptions.
Yeah, of course. Pass catchers, T.Y. Hilton.
He's starting to show some juice in the old legs, ain't he?
I'd fire him up.
Yeah.
To be honest. Coming off his first 100-yard game in 2 years. I want to say a year and a half almost.
Yeah, I was like, well.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I'd fire up T.Y. Hilton here. The Raiders' defense hasn't looked good. And T.Y. Hilton coming off 11 targets.
They bottom 5 in rushing and bottom 5 in passing.
Yeah.
Protection.
Yeah.
Defense, excuse me.
Yeah. It's not going to be pretty. So, Colts side of the ball, if you want to even take a chance with Phillip Rivers, it's an option. So Raiders side of the ball. Outside of Darren Waller, who can you trust? Against the Colts defense is very good.
There's one. Would you start? Who would you start? Kirk Cousins or
Phillip Rivers?
Phillip Rivers. I can't get over this Kirk Cousins situation.
I would start Kirk Cousins over Phillip Rivers.
Oh my God!
Against Tampa Bay, you would start Phillip Rivers?
I hate Kirk Cousins.
You would start. I know you would, but you would start. You're telling me you start Phillip Rivers?
Yes.
Okay.
Only quarterback I probably wouldn't start. That's a starting quarterback is probably Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater
is not going to barn burn at all. He ain't going to blow up. He's going to throw like 3 yards in, and that's all it's going to be.
Well, it's a bad start for him, and he's missing DJ Moore. But anyway, the Raiders side of the ball. Outside of Darren Waller, who can you really trust? Darren Waller coming off a career game, honestly, one of the better games of a tight end's career, period. 200 yards receiving. So outside of Darren Waller, who can you trust? Josh Jacobs. Coming into the game questionable. He practiced 1 day on a limited session, I want to say, or 2 days. I think he practiced 2 limited sessions with an ankle. and he missed last week. So that tells me even if you're firing up Jacobs, he's probably no good for maybe more than 10 to 15 carries at best, and it's going to be a wider split than you like. Against the Colts front, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I can't trust any of that. Pass catchers, same boat. I mean, if you want to take a chance this week with Nelson Aguilar, I mean, I can't do it. I'm sorry. The Colts are a good football team overall on both sides of the ball.
I think just this matchup, this Colts defense is going to be too good. I think DeForest Buckner is going to get in there and fuck them up pretty bad. And I think Derek Carr is going to make those mistakes like he's been making all season. So, I got the Colts winning this game.
Period. Yeah, that's simple as that. Colts. So
I mean, are you starting anybody for the Raiders?
Waller.
Yeah, Waller. Period.
You can't sit him. I'm even Jacobs. Here's the deal: if you have to start him, I get it. I have him in a 12-man league.
Is the kicker any good?
You know what? Yeah, Carlson's actually pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, he's definitely an option. So, we're both on the Colts. It could be a close game. You never know.
It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Jets against Seattle Seahawks, 47 over under.
Yeah.
Seattle, I think, is projected 45 points, right? Jets 2 or something.
I'm laughing at this shit, but the Seattle just lost to the Giants, so
I know it's a struggle.
But they won't lose to the Jets.
I don't think so either. New York Jets side of the football. Seattle secondary is still bad. Defense isn't very good, and Rashard Perryman is looking healthy. Maybe take a chance on him. Jameson Crowder coming off a game with 2 touchdowns. Maybe take a chance on him. Outside of that, Frank Gore had a concussion. Are you starting him against Seattle? No, you're not.
The fantasy playoffs.
Okay.
You want to grow with the Jets? Go ahead.
That's fine. Seattle side of the ball, Chris Carson. A lot of people got him on the sits, right? Jets are okay against running backs, but Chris Carson does a lot through the air. The volume's going to be there. Removed from the injury report.
The volume is the biggest part of it.
Removed from the injury report. First time, you know what I mean, in probably the last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So definitely Chris Carson, in my opinion, is still a must start.
Shit, I was going to say 6 months.
That's what I'm saying. So Russ, Lockett, DK.
Yeah.
That's what you trust. Seattle Seahawks. Move on.
Yeah.
On to the next matchup.
Don't trust no scrubs. You want to get into the playoffs or you want to win your first round of the playoffs. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take chance on these suckers, man. You know what I mean? There's fantasy boom and there's fantasy buzz. You're not looking for sleepers right now. You playing your studs. Even if they in bad matchups, a lot of the times if they got a good target share and they're running the routes, that's the guys you're taking.
Yeah, absolutely. So Denver, we'll talk about Denver and Carolina real quick. Starts on the Denver side of the ball. They'll actually have a quarterback this week. Thank goodness. So Noah Fant, tight end position. He's still an elite talent, so I take a chance on him. Melvin Gordon coming off his best game of the season with the most yards, 130 rushing yards, I want to say. 15 carries, 130 yards, something like that. Very good game. Tim Patrick, I'm going to throw it out there. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Only had 4 targets, but he had all 4 catches. I want to say he was 50 yards or under, but 2 touchdowns. He's the playmaker on the offense, for the wide receiver position. Carolina, they've been good against wide receivers, but
it just makes you wonder what Cortland Sutton will be doing right now.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Or what that offense would look like. I'll tell you what, Drew Lock, I'm not...
Can you imagine those 50-50 balls with Cortland? Oh, my God.
It'd be a little different.
Can't wait till next season.
Right? Carolina side of the ball. CMC.
Yeah.
Questionable. Saying he's doubtful. Probably not going to play, so obviously start Mike Davis if CMC's out. DJ Moore, we know he's on the COVID list. He's not expected to play. Curtis Samuel's lifted off the list, so if you're going to take a chance, start Curtis Samuel if you'd like. And Robbie Anderson, based on volume. Those are the 2 pass catchers in that offense, especially with DJ Moore being out. It even limits it even more. They don't throw the tight end position. It's irrelevant. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting Bridgewater this week. Denver. They've been good against the quarterbacks, giving up 2 passing touchdowns to the quarterback over the last 4 games. And those are games against quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Tua, and Taysom Hill. And they've given up 2 total passing touchdowns. You know what I mean? So it's like their defense is actually getting stronger as they go. So definitely I'd be sitting Bridgewater. But Carolina at home, I think they're going to get it done, man. Denver always seems to come in and win games where you never expect them to. This is, in my opinion, is definitely a win game for Denver. Possible. But I'm going to take Carolina at home.
Yeah, I wouldn't accidentally start Bridgewater if there was like a tornado right now. I just wouldn't. He'll never win me a game.
Yeah. Carolina, Denver.
You know what? I'm going to take Carolina at home.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on the same boat. And like I said, Denver could win the game. You never know.
I just like that young sprawlness that defense has. And a lot of players, you probably got a gold nugget drop to you if somebody dropped Mike Davis. So, you know what I'm saying? You'd be lining him up here in this game. So, Carolina at home, there's not really much hope for fantasy playoffs in this game. But Mike Davis, if you got him, go ahead and start that up.
Yeah, of course. Moving on, Atlanta. On the road against the Chargers. 49 over under. They got Atlanta favored in this game, which I'm just surprised.
Well, they did have Atlanta favored in the game, and then news broke today, which sucks like a motherfucker because I had Atlanta winning this game hands down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Now I don't because you know what I'm saying. We've seen the games without Julio, and if you don't know, Julio Jones is downgraded to be out of this game.
Yeah,
and we've seen the games with Matt Ryan without Julio Jones, so
it's not good.
He doesn't produce as well. So. You know, is he still a top end type of quarterback? Yes, I would start him over Kirk Cousins. Don't care.
I would not,
but
I would not.
I just don't like Kirk Cousins. Anyway,
I got you.
It's personal beef. Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know though. They just find a way to lose.
They normally do find a way to lose. Don't get me wrong. Young Hoku is a revenge game. You know what I mean? So. Starts in this game, Atlanta side of the ball. If you got Todd Gurley, I know it's a tough spot. They barely utilized him. Third downs and in the 20s. That's all they had. That's all they utilized him for last week. It wasn't pretty. He finished with less than 20 yards on 7 or 8 carries. He only played 20 snaps. So, but in this game, you know Julio's out. They might have to run the ball a little bit more. Does Gurley get 20 carries here? No. But I think he might be able to find the end zone in this game. It's an option. So, Calvin Ridley. The only guy could start on the Atlanta Falcons.
Period.
Of course. The volume's going to be there.
He should still be Calvin Ridley.
Absolutely. So, Matt Ryan is a sit for me. He plays terrible without Julio. It's plain and simple. So, Chargers. Fire everybody up. Atlanta's secondary is not good. The defense has played better as of late, but they're also on the road. Chargers coming off a bad loss. 45-0. That's embarrassing. Herbert's worst game of his career. I get it. He's a young quarterback. But Herbert's a bounce back. Absolutely. Probably going to be a top 5 quarterback this week. Keenan Allen is a must start every week. Austin Eckler should see enough volume to get the fantasy points. You're obviously starting him if you drafted him. Mike Williams. You want to take a chance with him? I get it. There's going to still be a lot of points. It's 49 over under. So, and Hunter Henry. Atlanta's susceptible to the starting position. He's coming off one of his worst games of the season, but it's still a viable option. We're both on the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm on the Chargers, period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We could talk this shit till the morning. I'm going for the Chargers.
Of course. I'm just getting all the starters out there. So,
man, let's go.
Right, move on. New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit with Taysom Hill, but New Orleans Saints on the road against Philadelphia Eagles.
It's going to be a tricky one.
42.5 over and under. That's low for a Saints team. Saints and Eagles, you would think this would be in the 50s.
No, it's not. It's not in the 50s because it's going to be a pace situation. I think you look at the committee that Doug Peterson is running past. A week prior, they activated Howard. You know what I'm saying? They were already priming to get ready for Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? So the way that you do that is short passes and everything like that. And you look at that front for Taysom Hill with the Philly line. This could be a tough game for Taysom Hill, to be honest with you. He might have to pass more than he actually runs in this situation. And, you know, it could come down to the clock getting ate up and just pace. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it's a very low score. I got it a field goal game, to be honest with you. And to be real, I think that the Philadelphia Eagles end up shocking the Saints in this one.
Okay. I say there's no way in hell that happens just because the Saints' defense has played so good, especially when Breeze is out.
I think the Saints are going to lose on the pace because they're usually just, you know what I'm saying, running the offense and shooting. Philadelphia is not. They're used to a slow pace right now, even though they got really fast players. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Jalen Hurts is going to come out and shock them and be able to make a couple plays here and there for them to set this up and win this football game.
Okay, New Orleans side of the ball. Let's talk about some starters. Alvin Kamara. Yeah. He's been great. You're starting him. I'm sorry. Philly has been decent against running backs, but you're starting him. You're not sitting Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas. Darius Slay's been killed, period. Especially over the last few weeks against ridiculous top-end talent. You saw what Metcalf did to him just a couple weeks ago. You seen last week what Devontae Adams did to him. Embarrassed him. Now it's Michael Thomas. Now, is he going to feast? Probably not necessarily, but Thomas is easily the number one target in the offense.
But he has yet to see the end zone with Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so
Taysom Hill is a starter for me just because of the rushing ability and the floor. It's pretty safe. Jared Cook, I don't know about that in this game. Philly's been decent against tight ends, so I'm not so sure with Jared Cook, but if you got to take a chance, I get it. Outside of that, I can't trust no other pass catchers, even though they are catching touchdowns. Emmanuel Sanders and guys like that. Traquan Smith, whoever else. But you can't trust them. Philly side of the ball. Outside of Dallas Goedert, who can you trust? Really, to catch the passes. Jalen Reagor, don't get me wrong, he had the return touchdown, but one catch last week on one target for 30 yards.
With Carson Wentz at the helm.
No. That was partly with Jalen Hurts also. He played pretty much the whole second half. Greg Ward caught a touchdown. You know what I mean? So who's going to make the plays in that offense at the wide receiver position? I'm not so sure.
And that's the key point. I mean, this happens every year. A rookie quarterback comes in, and defenses don't know how to scheme against his quarterback. You know what I mean? And you look at what he did in college. You know what I'm saying? He is a mobile threat as well. So, yeah. You know what I mean? That dual threat is very hard to game plan against. I think they're going to go in there and take this lightly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. The pace of the game, the way it's going to go, I think is more clear cut for Philly to win this football game. You got Reagor, all these guys out here ready to make work. Dallas Goedert, as you just mentioned. Hopefully we get Miles Sanders to get a little bit more snaps. You got Alshon Jeffrey just ready to eat. I think they got a full offense ready to go. I think just, you think about the offensive line and Wentz running the football like he's Lamar Jackson, and that's not his game. And just his confidence is completely ate. Yeah. You get a guy that comes in, and, Jalen Hurts, he did throw an interception last week, but he also threw a touchdown. Yeah. And I think that's a very big promise to that organization, and I think that they've been waiting for that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Philly side of the ball, just to reiterate the starts. Dallas Goedert's the only guy I can really trust. The Saints. I know if you got Miles Sanders, if you drafted Miles Sanders, I know you probably got to start him if you want.
He's dead. I think he's dead.
Okay, so sit him. And I would too. The Saints give up the fewest fantasy points to running backs, period. You're starting a running back that's in a committee against the Saints. That doesn't sound good to me. Yeah. So anyway, we're split on that. You got Philly. I'm going to take the Saints on the road. Moving to the next matchup. We got a couple left. Washington football team on the road against San Francisco 49ers.
I can tell you right now we already split.
That's all right. Possible upset, 43.5 over under. It's obviously low. Washington football team, they're without Antonio Gibson.
They beat Pittsburgh without Antonio Gibson.
That's okay. Pittsburgh looked like trash.
That's the number one defense in the league, right?
No. Hell no. Did they look like it?
They didn't need Antonio Gibson to win the game.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
This is a revenge game.
Okay. Washington football team. Let's talk about starters. First off, J.D. McKissic. Niners have good linebackers. They're going to be able to stop those short passes for the most part. But the target share has been there all year with McKissic when he gets onto the field. Antonio Gibson started eating that up a little bit with Alex Smith. He's getting more comfortable passing. But you saw last week, I want to say he had 10 targets once again against Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's kind of a safe floor guy. Low end running back. You know what I'm saying? Flex type guy. So I'd be starting McKissic if you really got to start him. McLaurin, last week, coming off his worst game of the season. I want to say he had 2 targets, something like that, one or 2 catches. It was not pretty. But the 49ers, you saw last week, Josh Allen just lit them up, period. So McLaurin is a guy that I would be starting if you got him comfortably on your roster. Logan Thomas, he's been great, but the 49ers give up the fewest fantasy points to the tight end. I probably wouldn't be starting Logan Thomas here if you don't, unless you really have to.
Yeah.
Maybe look for a new option. San Francisco side of the ball. If they want to win the football game, it starts with running the football. So that means Mostert. In my opinion, you saw last week Mostert did not get all the love, and I get it. They're trying to work him back in. He's probably still a little bit hurt. He's dealt with injury all year, a couple different kinds of injuries. So I totally get it. They're not thrusting him into this big workload. So it's going to be tough as a fantasy manager to trust Mostert. I totally get it. And Washington football team, they're pretty good against running backs. They have been on the season so far. But if the Niners are going to win the game, they got to run the ball with Mostert. It starts with him.
I think for the Niners to win the game, they have to have the confidence to win the football game, to even go out there and play. You look at the situation that COVID has brought upon this football team. They have the most transactions in the National Football League right now, catching the most injuries, the most COVID cases.
Yeah.
They do not have a home to practice or play in right now. They cannot see their families at all. Mike Shanahan has said that during Christmas time that they, you know what I'm saying, will guaranteed to see their family. So I think the morale is very low, and also already saying that Richard Sherman will not be there next year. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that they're just not motivated to even play right now. It's crazy.
They're still in it. They're still in the fight a little bit.
They are still in the, especially with that sixth spot for the playoff push. Yeah. But I think Washington is really fighting to win that division. We know that San Francisco is not going to win that division at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, just like they were very strong all year with Rivera catcher, they play for each other right now. And I think that this is a revenge game for Alex Smith as well. You know what I'm saying? The team that dumped on him seasons prior. And he's playing hot right now. Comeback player of the year, obviously. I think they're ready to roll against this 49 team, and they should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Smith, he's actually played pretty well. Obviously, being out of football for almost 2 years,
yeah,
he's going to have some rust, plain and simple. So it's like it took him a few weeks to kind of get acclimated. It's starting to show. He's played better and better each week. So
Haskins, who? Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Debo and Ayuk, they're flex type guys in my opinion. If you got them on your roster and you need a flex spot, possibly a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, both these guys are viable options. I think the volume's going to be there enough, you know. So those are the other 2 guys that I'll be starting here. I'm going to say that the San Francisco 49ers are going to win in Arizona at their home stadium this week.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, and we're split on it. You got the Washington football team.
I got Washington, man. Sorry.
Okay. Now we're looking at the Sunday night matchup. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
On the road against Buffalo.
Yeah. They're not winning.
48 over under. This is what I was shocked with. 48 over under. Where it's like, I get it, Buffalo's defense is playing a little bit better. Pittsburgh defense is playing a little bit worse. You would think this would be a lot higher. I would take the over in this, in my opinion. I really would. Ben Roethlisberger, most pass attempts on the season at the quarterback position. Which is shocking considering you thought they were going to run the ball. You think of the Pittsburgh Steelers and they run the football.
It is. I mean, it's not shocking at all because he's just throwing a lot of short passes.
Yeah.
He's not throwing it down the field at all. And to keep up with this kind of team, they're going to have to go to Little Megatron. And they're not hitting them at all right now. You know what I mean? So if you don't go to your best playmaker in the game, how are you going to beat this team? Because you know Stephon Diggs is going to get his targets regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just works well in that system with Josh Allen and John Brown and, you know, the little semi-committee running back that they got back there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Buffalo just wins this game, period.
Absolutely. We'll talk about some starters. First off, Pittsburgh. I would start Ben Roethlisberger here. 48 over under. Buffalo, you got to worry about the weather. It might be raining a little bit. It's going to be cold. It's Buffalo. I get it. Ben Roethlisberger with the most pass attempts, I would take a chance on him. He's been throwing a lot of touchdowns, period. You know, not high volume. Now, obviously not. You were talking about the short passes, but I'd take a chance on him. Connor's back. You start James Conner here against Buffalo? I mean,
yeah,
if you draft him, you got to.
Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? That was like second round equity right there. You know what I mean? But if I'm going to go on a limb right now, 48 and a half over and under in the cold against the Pittsburgh Steelers, both of these teams play down to their opponents. I'm going to take the under on this game. This is going to be a field goal game.
Okay. I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to go over because it has the potential with 2 teams that could score a lot of points in bunches. It's an option. Josh Allen, man, you never know who's going to show up. Okay, I believe that. Wide receivers, Deontay Johnson. He's been good. Getting lots of targets. Getting the red zone targets. I would be starting him here.
Dropping a lot of targets.
Dropping a lot of bad passes. There's a lot of stats out there they talked about where Ben Roethlisberger is, the balls aren't good. He's not throwing good passes. You know what I mean? Deontay Johnson, absolutely be starting him here. He's getting all the targets. He's getting the red zone looks, stuff like that. So he's an option. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's picked it up as of late. He hasn't obviously blown up, but if you got to start him, I get it. Chase Claypool, he's really cooled off over the last few weeks. Ben Roethlisberger's not throwing the ball downfield as much. Eric Ebron's getting tons of targets for a little bit of yards. So if you want to take a chance, I get it. Buffalo side of the ball. Josh Allen, it's a pretty good start for him. He's at home, Pittsburgh defense. Last week, you saw it. 3 sacks. No turnovers. They obviously have potential to play very good defense. But I think being in Buffalo, it's going to be a little tougher for him. I would start Josh Allen here. It's definitely an option. Wide receiver core. Pittsburgh's been bad against wide receivers, essentially. So Stephon Diggs must start. Cole Beasley, I'd be starting him. He's been slapping. I'm sorry. And Gabriel Davis, just an option. So I'm on Buffalo. just like you are,
Yeah.
to win the game. So we'll move to the Monday night matchup. The game of the week, a lot of people are calling it. Baltimore Ravens.
At Cleveland.
Absolutely. 47 over and under. Baltimore coming off a not necessarily a huge win, but a win against the Dallas Cowboys.
A win that they should have had.
Of course, on Tuesday night football, that was exciting to watch. But starts in this game, Baltimore side of the ball. Lamar Jackson, he plays pretty good against Cleveland. He has in his career. If you drafted him as your number one quarterback, you're probably starting him. Maybe you got lucky and picked up someone like Justin Herbert. I don't know if there's that many quarterbacks I would stream over him. So you'd probably be starting him here. Running back position, what do? You start J.K. Dobbins? 90 yards and a touchdown last week.
It's crazy. You know what? I'm looking at muddle backfields, and I'm like, this is playoffs. I'm staying away from it.
Okay.
Unless it's just like a real green light, Detroit, Houston, Green Bay, you know what I'm saying, the Raiders. Outside of that, it's like I'm kind of staying away from it. You know what I mean? You look at J.K. Dobbins, the guy's ready to explode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he's already got his feet wet in the league and he's ready to roll. Mark Ingram looks like the ghost of Christmas past. Gus Edwards, I keep telling you, that guy's for real. You know what I'm saying? I think it should be a Dobbins, Gus Edwards type of backfield, but you never know what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. So that is what it is. The number one running back on that team is Lamar Jackson, and he's going to show up week to week regardless.
Yeah, of course. Mark Andrews, definitely a start.
Killed Cleveland week 2.
Yeah, you're not sitting him. You have Mark Andrews, you're starting him. Marquise Brown. This is in my opinion, is one of the hardest starts of the week. Coming out back-to-back games with a touchdown. You know what I mean? Back-to-back games with a touchdown.
I'm sorry, I'm salty.
And here's the deal. Cleveland, giving up, I want to say, the 5th most fantasy points, something like that, to the wide receiver position. They're bottom 5.
Yeah.
I can't even really say it's a good start for him, considering Mark Andrews missed the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You saw Marquise Brown, back-to-back 8 targets. It hasn't happened on the season. Brown just hasn't seen that love. So now you mix back in Mark Andrews and you think Marquise Brown can still be effective, in my opinion, in the offense, but it hasn't showed with both of them. So I would stray away from Marquise Brown this week. I really would. It's just a guy you really can't trust. Cleveland side of the ball. Outside of Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Can you trust Baker Mayfield or any of the pass catchers against Baltimore Ravens?
No. Not for my playoffs.
I'll tell you what, Jarvis Landry's played very well, and he's seen a lot of target share. Maybe you got to roll him as a flex guy. I really would. If you picked him up, I want to say he's been seeing double-digit targets. He's had 100 yards. He's scoring in the red zone. He's getting the targets in the red zone. He's the one pass catcher I would. Maybe at the tight end position if you want to take a chance, but that's been mix and match too. Ultimately, Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens, period. I agree with you on all that. And that's basically what it is. I'm not trusting no Cleveland Browns. Outside of Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Justin Tucker, you know what I mean? Hollywood, if you want to throw him in there. I don't trust nobody.
Yep.
This is winner, take it home. We finna go get this bag. You know what it is. Playoffs. I hope you make it.
Yep, absolutely. So, for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott.
G.O.D.
And we out.
Yeah.